So like I said, we're going to be going over managing transactions, which is all done within opportunities in Command. So if you're already using Command, especially for submitting paperwork, opportunities is going to look very familiar to you, but we're going to go a little bit more in depth than we typically would on a compliance training. So we're not going to cover submitting paperwork at all. It's just all going to be helping you stay organized and tracking all of your business. So this is all done within opportunities. So that is the little handshake icon over here. If you do click the KW at the top, it opens it up so you can see what each one means if you're not super familiar with Command yet, but it is this icon here. And this is your opportunity dashboard. So again, this will look pretty familiar if you're using Command already. But the first thing you see here are some pipelines. So this is your sales pipeline. It's where you can keep track of all of your business, what's upcoming, what you have on the go. And it is separated into listings and buyers just to keep things clean and organized. So within each pipeline, there's also 5 phases. So there's cultivate, appointment, active, under contract, and closed. So this is how you can track that opportunity throughout the life of the transaction. So cultivate would be when it's still a lead, you haven't made any appointments with them, you haven't signed any paperwork, maybe they replied to a Facebook ad you did, or you met them at a party and they want to sell their house next year. This is something you could put or create an opportunity for and put into cultivate. It just keeps it at the top of your mind. You can see right here, I have one in cultivate, so I know that there's someone there that I may need to do some nurturing to keep moving them throughout this pipeline. The next phase here is appointment. So once that opportunity or that client made an appointment with you, you're going to see their house, you would move them into appointment. Once the listing was active, obviously it moves into active. Once you have an accepted offer, it would be under contract. And then once it closes, it goes into closed. So this is how you can keep track of where that business is. So that is the pipeline. You can see there's also leases down here. That's not relevant here. We don't do that in Nova Scotia, so you can just ignore that. Unfortunately, there's no way to hide it. The second function of the pipeline is it's actually going to track your income or your potential income. So you can see over here under GCI, there is a potential income number. So this number is it says right here, the total commission from all of your opportunities in this pipeline. So if every single opportunity, I just cleaned mine out, so I only have 2, but if both of these opportunities were to close, this is how much I'm going to make in commission. So as you're moving things through the pipeline and adding opportunities into here, you're going to see this potential income number go up. There's also a probable income number, which is a little bit different. Unfortunately, it's a bit more accurate and a lot less. So this is an adjusted commission based on where the opportunity is in the pipeline. So someone who you met at a party and they're going to sell their house maybe next year and you've put into cultivate, you have a much lower chance of being paid on that transaction than the active listing that you just accepted an offer on. You're much closer to that end goal of being paid. So your probable income has been calculated much higher. So that's where this probable income comes from. So that will be a little bit more accurate. You can change those probabilities, so you can edit them so they fit what business you're doing. If you know your numbers, you can adjust those, which I'll show you afterwards, but that can be changed as well. A couple other things on this screen here. If you scroll down, there is this ratio section. So this is just giving you some data about your opportunities. You can see how many of your opportunities are listings and how many are buyers. So you can compare what types of deals you're doing more. And then there's this activity. So this is just tracking how many opportunities you're adding. So maybe in June, you did some marketing. If you see a big spike here in opportunities, you know that that marketing worked. So just some extra data to help you make decisions in your business as well. And here you can filter. So it's set to all opportunities, but you can change it to just your listings or just your buyers if you want it to be a little bit more specific. Up at the top here, you'll see a couple other things on the toolbar. So if you're on a team, you will see your team name here. So If you're on a team, it's important that you're using your team account within Command to create your opportunities. That way, if you have an administrator or your Rainmaker can see all of the opportunities that you're creating. So just make sure you're on your team account if you are on a team. If you're individual, you'll just see your own name here. You won't see the team section. There is also this all opportunities button here. So this just gives you all of your opportunities in a list format versus a pipeline. So this allows you to filter things a little bit easier. You see here there is filters. So if you just want to see a list of all of your listing opportunities or all of your buyers, that's easy to do here. You can filter by phase. So when we were looking at that pipeline, if you just want to see all of the people that are under contract, you could filter that way. So just another way to look at your opportunities, but the pipeline is really the best visual tool. It gives you a great overview of the business that you have and what you have upcoming. Any questions about the dashboard here in the pipeline? No? All right. So we're just going to create an opportunity now. And
excuse me 1 second.
Yeah.
If my listings were sent in like months ago on paperwork, am I still able to add them in here as listings? Or is it too late?
You can if you want to keep track of them that way.
Yeah.
If the office already has them as paper files, you wouldn't necessarily need to submit your paperwork through here.
No.
You could create an opportunity and just use it to track the business for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right, so you can create an opportunity from right here, but first we have to make sure that the person tied to this opportunity is in our contact section of Command. So I'm actually just going to go back to my contacts, which is this icon up here. And I'm going to add a contact. So just click on this add contact button here. And you don't need to put a whole lot of information in here. There is a lot of information you can put in. And the more information you give Command, the better it's going to work for you. But just for the purpose of this training, I'm just going to put a name and an email address. So like I said, there's a whole lot you can put in here, but just for this, we're going to just create this contact. Oh, where did it go? Oh, contacts. And here I am right here. So from within the contact, we can actually create the opportunity right from here. It's quite easy to do. Just click on opportunities. So like I showed you, you can create them directly from the opportunities tab, but if you're in here creating the contact, it's super quick to just toggle over to opportunities and you can create it right from here. So I'm going to click on create opportunity right there. All right, so if you're on a team, your team name would show up here. If you're not on a team, this will be grayed out. So you don't need to worry about the team or the owner section there if you're an individual agent. The market center will always be Keller Williams Select Realty unless you end up being licensed in another province and join a second market center. But I think everyone here is just with KW Select, so that's the only option that you will have. Then you choose your opportunity type, so listing or buyer. Of course, landlord and tenant don't apply here, but this is important. It's the only thing you cannot change afterwards, so it's important to choose the right one. This makes sure it's put into the correct pipeline. And then down the road, if you are using this to submit paperwork, it's what generates what documents need to be submitted. So again, this is very important. It had automatically attached my client right here. If this was a husband and wife selling a house, maybe you could link the second contact here. And then you give your opportunity a name. So this is up to you what you put here. If you are using this for the purpose of submitting paperwork, we do ask that you put the property address in the name. Here. Custom tags. So again, you can create tags for your opportunities the same way you can with your contacts. So this is just a way to keep track of your business. So if you, right here, I have one for Home Show 2020. So if you had a booth in a home show, you may want to create a tag for that so that any opportunities that come from that source, you can tag it with this. That way next year, when you're trying to decide whether or not to do that home show, you can go into your opportunities, filter by this tag and see, oh, well, I got 10 deals from this one home show, so maybe I should do it again. So again, the more information that you give Command when you're setting things up, the better it's going to work for you. The rest of this, estimated close date, again, you may not know right from the beginning. You can always edit them later. Estimated listing price. This is not a required field, but if you do want to use opportunities to track your incomes, that GCI, you will need to fill in this listing price as well as the commission rate. Again, this is all editable afterwards, so you can always come in and adjust it. The only thing that wasn't editable is that opportunity type. Then you're choosing which phase of the pipeline you're putting this opportunity into. So you can choose between cultivate, appointment, and active. Under contract and closed are not options here because Command is assuming that you're doing this prior to it being under contract. So it doesn't even give you the option. Within each opportunity phase in that pipeline, there's also stages, which we're going to go through in a little bit. So just keep that in the back of your mind. But it's just a way to categorize things a bit more specifically within each phase. So we'll look at that in a moment. But I'm just going to click on create here. And it's created this opportunity directly within my contact. So if you're ever looking for a specific opportunity, sometimes it's easier to just come in and find your contact that is linked to it. And you can see all of the opportunities you've created for this particular contact. So to open it up, I'm just going to click on the address here. And that brings us right into the opportunity that we created. If you need to edit anything, you just click on this pencil here. And that opens up the same window. It looks a little bit different, but it's pretty much the same, where you can fill in, maybe if you didn't know the property address and now you do, you can change the name here. You can change the listing price if that's changed, really anything in here. So that's how you would edit them. I'm just going to hop back to the pipeline for a second. So now we've created our opportunity. We put it into Cultivate. So now you can see I used to have one opportunity in Cultivate, and now I have two. So if I want to expand this pipeline and look at things a little bit more in detail, we can click on the little icon here for Cultivate, which opens up the pipeline. So we're under Cultivate. This is the one I just created. And it's put it into this stage called Watch Lead. So you can create stages within each phase, and you can customize them however you would like, however your workflow works for your business. So in Cultivate, this is just leads. They're not clients. I haven't signed any paperwork. So these are just different stages for reminding you to follow up with them. So I have this one in Watch Lead. You can just click and drag it throughout the pipeline. It's super easy. You see like that. On this little card, it does give you a few details. So that's the tag that I added, the Home Show 2020. So I can see right away that this deal came from the Home Show. This is the name. If I had put a closing date in here, that would show up here. That's the potential commission that I'll make. And then you can see down here, there's this button that says 0 of 1. So if I click on that, it's actually created a checklist for me. So you can set up checklists within your opportunities. So it's always telling you what you need to do depending on where that opportunity is in the pipeline. So this one I have under Hot Lead. If I look at that, it's contact seller to book appointment. So that's the final stage of Cultivate. I'm going to contact them to book my appointment. Here under Nurture Lead, there's some different ones. So it's telling me to follow up with the lead and put them on a smart plan. So again, you can customize all of these. You'll want to set them up how your workflow works. If I go into appointment here, actually, I'll just drag this up into appointment. Now it's telling me that I need to prepare my listing presentation, find comparables, my database, and update. So at all times, it's giving me exactly what I need to do. And if you also think of it in the sense that you can create these checklists. So if you ever need to hire an admin, they know exactly what they need to be doing at all times. So it's a great thing to set up in the beginning, especially if you're not super, super busy. But taking the time to set these up will really help you. So to do this, you just click on Edit Stages up here. And this is where you can change the stages that show up under each phase in the pipeline and create those checklists. You can also edit the probability from here. So like I said, if you are moving that through the pipeline, this is saying that when I'm scheduling the appointment, I have a 10% chance of being paid. That's what's calculating that probable income. So if you know at this stage in the pipeline, it's actually 20% for you, you can come in here and click on the pencil and you can change that probability. You can also change the name of the stages and you can add additional stages as well. So like I said, just whatever your workflow is, you can customize that exactly how you would like. If I click on the checklist here, this is where you can configure your checklists. So I have these 4 here. If I wanted to add another one here, schedule appointment, I can click save, and that will just add this to my checklist. So these will show up on every opportunity as you move them through the pipeline. So I'll just save that. Any questions about the stages or the probabilities or anything? No.
I see that proper probability of commission 20%. Yay. I'll take that one.
That would be nice, eh? All right. So I'm just going to go back to this here. All right. What else here? So now in this checklist, oh, where is that showing up? That was in scheduling. Did I not save that? I did. Maybe I have to move it out and back in. That's not updating. But if this was working as it's supposed to, that additional step I showed would be here. So when you're in your pipeline, it's easy to see how many of those steps you've done. If I check one of these off that I've done it, it gives you a little progress bar. And I can see now that I've done 2 of 4 of the checklist items that I need to do. If there's anything that's more time sensitive, you can also set due dates. You can see here. So this will actually create it as a task for you. So if I set a due date for this one of today at 10:30, and we'll close that. Now when I'm in, oh, okay. If this was working as it should be, when I go to my tasks section in command here and look at my opportunity tasks, it does show up here. So now it shows up in my tasks in command that I need to update my database. So if there's anything that's time sensitive and you want a reminder for that, you can always set a due date for it specifically within that checklist, and that will create a task and remind you that you need to be doing it. Otherwise, you just need to be watching your opportunities and going through those checklists. Any questions about that?
I have a question, maybe not about what you were just talking about,
Sure.
but when things move along the pipeline and you finally get it to closed, how long does it stay in closed? Because I know you can edit them, but we have a section that says closed, not paid, and then closed paid. And when I put them in closed paid, after a while, they just kind of disappear. Like, yeah, so I'm just wondering what the time limit is of that. I know it just pops into all opportunities, but just curious.
Yeah, so it stays there for 30 days. So once you move it into closed, after 30 days, it's going to disappear from the pipeline. It just keeps your pipeline clean. So, I mean, if you're doing a lot of business, let's say you've closed 30 deals this year, you're going to have 30 things here and you're going to have to fish through all of those looking for that one specific thing or that property that recently closed. So after 30 days, they do purge them from the pipeline. Like you said, you can still get to it in all opportunities. And if you view the contact associated with the opportunity, it does still show up there under opportunity.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've seen that. I just, I was asked about how that, like, when they go and where they go. And I said, well, I know they go into all opportunities, but I have no idea when the system decides that. So 30 days, that answers my question. Thank you.
Perfect. Any other questions about that or anything else that you want to see within here more specifically? Oh, have something in the chat. Oh. Yes, Tara, we knew that answer. We figured that out yesterday, actually. Well, I know that was very brief, but that's managing your transactions within Command. Within the opportunities, obviously there's a bit more. You can submit your paperwork and link to DocuSign and all of that. So if anyone wants me to review that a little bit more, we definitely can, since we have some extra time. But in terms of the pipeline and all of that stuff, that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple to set up. And I have some checklist or sample checklists as well. So things that you can add and stages you can add, just suggestions. So I can send those out afterwards to everyone that's on this call. So you can take that time to set up your checklists. Obviously, not everything's going to be relevant that's on that list, and there's going to be extra things that aren't on that list that you need to add. But it just gives you a good jumping off point if you're not really sure where to start. So I will send those out as well.
Jessica, are you able to, and I know it's somewhere and I can go look for it if you can't do it, but taking documents from .loop and putting them in Command or vice versa?
Yep. So you would need to link your .loop in your settings. So by default, it tries to link you to DocuSign, but you can do .loop as well. So if you click on your name up here and go to settings.
Okay.
You'll need to click on connect more apps right here.
Okay.
It's going to open up the apps. I'm just going to search .loop right here, view details, and activate.
Okay.
Second. I don't have a .loop account, so I don't know if it's gonna work, but we'll see. I don't know.
Build to Aaron
File or something, so I'm not going to do that. But it will basically put another section here that says .loop, same as DocuSign.
Okay.
You just have to connect your account and log into it.
Okay.
And then within the opportunity, it's the same process, whether you're using .loop or DocuSign. So if I open this one up here and go to documents, once your .loop is connected instead of DocuSign, when you click start a transaction, it's going to open .loop instead of DocuSign. So the rest of the steps still apply if you've watched other compliance trainings for linking to DocuSign and pulling those documents in. That will all be the same. It'll just say .loop instead of DocuSign.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
No worries. Any other questions?
We're a loud, crazy bunch this morning. Holy smokes.
I know it went much faster than I thought. But...
Well, that was good. Thanks, Jessica.
No worries. Like I said, I'll send out those samples so you can see them. And work on adding those. Actually, one thing I didn't mention with the checklists, within any section of the opportunity, you can see them from up here as well. So if you click on that, it opens them. And one other thing I did not mention is you can click client update here. So maybe not when they're a lead, but once you have an active listing, if you had maybe a checklist here that said, book the stager, order the sign installer, things like that. If you check off client update, they will get an email. Your client will get an email at the end of the day with anything you've checked off. So it just lets them know that you're doing stuff behind the scenes. So you always have that option as well, and that's automated. So you can configure when those emails go out in your settings section in Command, but that is an option as well if you do want those automatic emails to go out.
So the automatic email, what do you like? Would I say what I'm doing, or would I put in there sign to be installed Friday the 3rd or something, and then the email would go out to the client saying sign being installed?
No, so it'll just tell them what you did. So if you've checked off client update here, and then you check this off that it's done, they're just going to get an email saying that you followed up with the lead. Obviously, this isn't the one you would use.
Oh,
but
okay.
they'll just get a list like that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Great.
Yeah.
Good to know.